Toe and heeling a bifold is the process of using each glass pane to reinforce the door and help it to operate smoothly. This is done using packers in appropriate corners of each pane along the bifold. When toe and heeled correctly, the door should be able to support its own weight and glide easily along the bottom track. Toe and heeling correctly can make all the difference in the operation of your bifold. If the weight of even one pane is wrongly distributed, this can cause the door to drag on the bottom track and damage the door, or even cause it not to open. When toe and heeling, it's essential to identify the correct corners where you need to place your packers. This can be easily done by following this fairly simple pattern. Always start with the first pane at the wall end of your bifold. Place the first packers in the bottom corner on the fixed side of the sash, and then in the opposite top corner of the same sash. On the next pane, the packers should be placed in the opposite bottom corner and top corners to the previous pane. This should create a V shape where the packers have been placed so far. Continue in this zigzag formation by placing your next packers in the opposite bottom corner and the diagonal top corner on the next pane. For anything larger than a 3 pane, simply continue this pattern until the door is complete. If you have sashes sliding both ways in your bifold, follow the same pattern again, starting with the fixed end panes on both sides until the doors meet. Always start by removing the beading from each sash in your bifold. Once you've identified the first bottom corner to be toe and heeled, place your packers in an L shape within the sash frame. Introduce the glass to the frame and use your glazing paddle to create a gap in the opposite top corner. Begin to place packers horizontally and vertically around the glass until it is snug within the frame. On the outside of your bifold, you can use the gasket at the top of the door frame to check that the door is now level and has therefore been toe and heeled correctly. Replace the beading to the first frame before moving on to the next sash in the bifold. Repeat this process for all panes until your full bifold has now been toe and heeled. You can then begin to apply the gasket to each edge of every sash. With all the gasket in place, ensure that all final fixing screws have been installed within each sash. Open and close your bifold a few more times to double check that it runs smoothly along the track and that any traffic doors open and close with ease. Most of the frequently asked questions surrounding bifolds tend to boil down to the same problem. The bifolds have not been toe and heeled correctly. Doors that have been wrongly toe and heeled run the risk of becoming difficult to open, catching on the bottom track and not operating smoothly. Some telltale signs of poor toe and heeling include misaligned gasket on the outside of the doors and the brush strip at the bottom of each door being squashed. In almost all cases, these issues can be easily resolved with correct toe and heeling. Other things to look out for are making sure that the final fixing screws are in place and that the frame is level and plumb within the opening, as these factors can impact the operation of the bifolds in a similar way.